Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 11.
Firefighters from at least 6 Lane County departments converged on the Oaks Mobile Home Park fire at noontime. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NBC 16 News at 11. I am Alexis Thrower. Heavy black smoke could be seen from Highway 58, I-5, and CV Loop Road near Goshen. Homes at the park were evacuated and residents just to the north along Twin Buttes Road were told to evacuate as a precaution. State police troopers staged traffic control during the blaze. Fire officials say the flames also threatened a nearby small wood mill operation and Boneyville power lines overhead.
Well, what we know right now is that it appears there's 5 trailer spaces that were involved in this fire, and as you can see over my shoulder, with extensive damage to them.
And that's right about where my mobile home is. So I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't have a clue.
Bob Addy told us he got a phone call from a friend about the fire, but when we talked to him, he didn't know if his unit was destroyed. Fire officials tell us no residents were injured. Residents pitched in to help evacuate 2 people with disabilities who lived in the homes that were destroyed. The cause is under investigation. While progress is being made on the Milepost 97 fire, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians is still watching some of their land burn. NBC 16's Gabby Arenda reports.
Before the Milepost 97 fire began, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians had plans for the 1,300 acres of land that the fire has now burned. The tribe acquired the land after the Western Oregon Tribal Fairness Act passed in 2018.
Of irony in it, the tribe having to wait 165 years to get their permanent reservation that the 1853 treaty had promised, only to watch probably a quarter of it burn.
Crews are working to make sure no other land burns in the process.
Northwest portion of the fire is looking really good now, and we just have a small gap we've got to close up on that west side to get that buttoned up.
Over 1,500 crews are working on the fire, and they're not going home yet despite more containment.
We've got to make sure that this fire isn't going to move from the footprint that it's in. So we've got to keep all those resources here for a while longer, even once the line's in.
The tribe is hopeful they will still be able to restore the land.
There's some good that can come out of this, and to show examples of why forest management is so important.
Once the fire is out, the Cow Creek tribe plans to reduce the fuels on the land so they can protect it the best they can. Covering Douglas County for you, I'm Gabby Arenda.
A Wednesday evening fire at James Park in Glenwood damaged an estimated 4 to 5 acres. The fire broke out around 5 o'clock, quickly burning a number of trees along the way while approaching a nearby mobile home park. While fire crews worked quick to contain the fire, officials tell us it was a team effort.
The residents, they got their hoses out. They were wetting the fence line in an effort to assist. Goshen coming in really gave us a hand on that south end to effectively get ourselves in a position to stop the fire.
Battalion Chief Ennis says the fire marshal is working with the Lane County Sheriff's Office to determine the cause of the fire. Breaking news out of the Sauvie Island area. That's where the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office confirms a body was pulled from the Columbia River this afternoon. It's near the area where a swimmer disappeared last week, and this is video of that search. But it's unclear if today's discovery is linked to that case. Deputies tell our sister station in Portland the body was sent to the medical examiner for identification. The trouble on the water doesn't end there. A 20-year-old man dove into the Clackamas River this afternoon at High Rocks and didn't come back up. His friends alerted lifeguards and they went in after him. The man had sunk 30 feet and was unresponsive when lifeguards pulled him to the surface and performed CPR. He's now in the hospital in critical condition. He did not have a life jacket on.
This tragic event highlights the importance of wearing life jackets, personal flotation devices in any water that has a current or any kind of hazards around it, which this river certainly does.
On Tuesday, an 8-year-old boy drowned at Oxbow Park. Gresham Fire says the boy wasn't wearing a life jacket either, despite having free ones available. On to a first look at weather. NBC 16's meteorologist Josh Cozart joins us now in the Weather Center. Josh, I hear there's some possible rain in our forecast. What impacts might that have on the fires?
Well, Alexis, you're right. We got to keep our fingers crossed, though, because more moisture is headed to our area, but it's not going to come in the ideal form, and that form would be in the form of rain. But we are seeing relative humidity values start to climb up. A little bit of that is thanks to the cooler conditions from the evening hours. But hey, we will take every little last bit of atmospheric moisture that we can take to really kind of help put a damper on some of those fire threats out there. But the winds pretty much on the calm side for most of us across our area. They might become a little bit breezier through the overnight hours as a cold front does approach. But you can see that air quality is much better at this point in time than where we were yesterday. But I'll take a look at the rain chances across our area, including the increase in clouds, and yet again the summer temperatures continuing in my full forecast in just a few minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Josh. Hydrogen-powered vehicles are no longer a thing of science fiction. A roundtable discussion today focused on how Oregon can use its surplus hydro and wind power. The Eugene Water and Electric Board says it produces more energy than the people of Eugene need in a year-long cycle. They are looking into creating sustainable clean hydrogen fuels so that energy doesn't go to waste. Congressman Peter DeFazio was there today checking out a hydrogen-powered car.
The idea is you would have a cycle where you could have what looks like, all intents and purposes, like your typical modern automobile, but it would be run totally on sustainable fuels. It could go further than a Tesla.
eWeb is looking to secure a grant from the Department of Energy to move forward with the idea. DeFazio says LTD has shown interest in creating hydrogen-fueled buses. Brace for impact. American consumers are about to pay higher prices after President Trump fired another round in his trade war today with China, tacking on another 10% tariff on billions of dollars worth of Chinese-made goods. This includes things ranging from lawnmowers and baby products to smartphones and computers. This comes as many Americans gear up for back-to-school buying. NBC's Tom Costello has the details.
If it's on your shopping wish list, there's a good chance it's also on President Trump's tariff list. $300 billion worth of products made in China hit with a new 10% tariff, with Americans paying the price, not China, including Apple iPhones, laptops and tablets, smart watches, TVs and gaming consoles, vacuum cleaners and home appliances, lawnmowers and auto parts, clothes and shoes, bicycles and baby products. At Delta Children's Furniture, nearly everything is made in China. The family-owned company supplies big retailers like Walmart, Kmart, Sears, and Pottery Barn. The last round of tariffs forced it to raise prices. Now this.
We just put a tax on having a child, whether it be the crib or the car seat or the stroller. Those now became more expensive.
A new shot fired in the trade war. President Trump.
The news sent the stock markets into a nosedive. The Dow Jones Industrial sliding 280 points after losing 333 yesterday when the Fed cut interest rates, warning that the trade war could slow the economy. The move is on top of the 25% tariffs already imposed by the president. Mr. Trump blames Chinese President Xi for failing to come to an agreement.
Frankly, he's not going fast enough. He said he was going to be buying from our farmers. He didn't do that. He said he was going to stop fentanyl from coming into our country. It's all coming out of China. He didn't do that. We're losing thousands.
Justice Department officials have decided not to charge former FBI Director James Comey with a crime. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. The Inspector General's office referred him for potential prosecution for his handling of memos that the FBI later determined contained classified information. But prosecutors declined to prosecute Comey, in part because they didn't believe there was evidence to show Comey intended to violate laws on handling classified information. An attorney for Comey declined to comment on that story. A bipartisan budget deal passed the Senate today. The Bipartisan Budget Act passed with a vote of 67 to 28. The act sets federal spending levels for 2 years and suspends the debt limit until July 31st, 2021. It puts an end to automatic spending cuts that would have kicked in without a deal and increases defense spending by $22 billion and the non-defense spending bill by $27 billion. The measure now heads to the White House for President Trump's signature. Coming up next on NBC 16 News at 11, some efforts are being made to bring awareness and support to the unhoused in Eugene. Plus, we continue our national spotlight on the opioid crisis with part 2 of Seattle's epidemic.
I know y'all have questions about men, marriage, dating.
News at 11.
A local nonprofit, Carry It Forward, has been making a change for people who are experiencing being unhoused. The nonprofit delivers donated goods to homeless people. It also collects and stores found campsite belongings for their owners. 95% of campsite cleanups belongings do make it back to their original owner.
People are pretty amazed when we return their belongings because they're used to it going into a dumpster or being put into police impound and not retrieving things. We also help them clean it up, so if it needs to be laundered or anything like that, we help them do that.
She tells us the idea came to mind after a post on Facebook received a lot of attention 4 years ago. At the time, she was asking for donations for unhoused neighbors during an ice storm because the Egan Warming Center was temporarily closed. Homeless protests that started last fall in downtown Eugene are still going on. This time, protesters have set up camp across the street from the federal courthouse. The prosecutors say they are disappointed that the city turned down plans for a homeless campsite downtown. The city and county subsequently opened Camp 99 off Highway 99, but that site was closed in January.
The next step is to figure out how to best work with the city to make things happen, best work with the county to make things happen. And I hope that's their plans, is to figure out how to best work utilizing us to implement the TAC report.
Organizer Eric Jackson says people want a place to camp without restrictive rules that can be found in some nonprofit-run campsites. He is considering legal action against the city for civil rights violations, but he says an agreement would be ideal. Breaking the cycle of opioid addiction and homelessness is something communities across the region struggle with every day. Last night we told you about a program in Rhode Island that is aggressively and compassionately attacking the addiction problem. Tonight we look at the key to that problem, how to transition people back into society.
As Seattle wrestles with the twin tragedies of addiction and homelessness, we look to the tiny state of Rhode Island for answers.
I became addicted at the age of 15. I was a full-fledged heroin addict.
This is Michael Manfredi when he came to the Rhode Island Department of Corrections for the final time. He'd done heroin for 35 years. 20 years of his life had been spent locked up.
Would I be where I am today if this program wasn't implemented? No. I wouldn't be here today. Honest to God, I'd be dead.
In tiny Rhode Island, the curse of opioid addiction is being met head-on, here, behind prison walls, and here, on the streets. The concept is simple, deceptively so. Drugs in prison, the drugs that get people off heroin.
We're monitored, like we get dose evaluations like the doctors, the counselors.
Jailed offenders don't have to go through painful withdrawal. They choose the drug that works for them, methadone, Suboxone, or Vivitrol. There are recovery coaches and counselors. There are group meetings and individual sessions. The mental part of addiction is attacked from every angle.
Does the counseling help?
Counseling definitely helps. You need somebody to talk to.
Ray Vincent chose Suboxone.
You know, with all the counseling and all the support that I have, it's like, it's a very smooth transition. You know, I don't know how it would be if I wasn't on medication.
And here's the key. It continues when they get out of prison.
Priority number one being how are they going to continue their medication.
This is a Kodak Center. They are sprinkled throughout Providence and Rhode Island. Kodak is the bridge from the inside to the outside.
You become a Kodak patient. So you become, you have a patient ID number.
There are 7 Kodak centers throughout the city of Providence. Former inmates show up anytime, any day.
Take-home bottles.
And they get their medication. No questions asked, no red tape. The counseling and the group meetings continue on the outside as well.
And I changed by becoming someone I didn't want to be.
It is what we're obligated to do as healthcare providers. It's the smart thing to do.
Michael Manfredi has a job now. He's clean and happy, and he's head over heels in love with his granddaughter.
Absolutely. I've never been happier in my life.
One way of measuring success is the death rate for those leaving prison. It's a dangerous time because addicts often get out of jail, use the same amount of drugs they had been using, and overdose. The rate of that happening is way down in Rhode Island.
And what we found was a 65% decrease in mortality for people with a history of incarceration.
My life's great, man. I can't thank everybody enough, man, because if it wasn't for this MAT program, Michael wouldn't be here today.
Maybe if we enforced our laws, if we intervened in lives that are reeling out of control and ruining a once beautiful city, maybe it could work here too.
Turning to weather now, NBC 16's meteorologist Josh Kozart is standing by for a look at what's coming up in your full forecast. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Alexis. We do have another storm system making its way to western Oregon. It's already starting to move into our area with increasing clouds. But the rain, I'll have the timing of that next.
I can't believe I missed that throw in the third.
Meteorologist Josh Kozart.
Well, we made it through the first day of August, and this is the first day of our last month of full-time summer, because then September, falls right around the corner. But you can see that the increasing clouds with our time lapse from earlier today looking to the west is an indication that, yes, our next storm system is already making its way into our neck of the woods. And you can see that with the radar and satellite. There's just a few of those isolated rain showers making their way along the coastal areas. Unfortunately, I just don't think that that moisture is going to be able to pull itself further inward towards the I-5 section. But you can see our temperatures are going to be on the mild side tonight into the upper 50s to low 60s once you make your way down to Roseburg, but increasing clouds will be a trend that continues through the overnight hours. Even into tomorrow, we'll hold tight onto some of those clouds, especially along the coastal areas with temperatures into low 70s. For those of us along the I-5 corridor and both of the valleys, we will see temperatures into the low 90s to mid to upper 80s. But I think we'll see a little bit more sunshine once we make our way through the afternoon hours. But all due to this low pressure system tracking its way further off towards the east, really just going to be a cloud maker for most of us. Not very much rain in sight, unfortunately. But once that cold front moves through our area, you guessed it, onto our Saturday, plenty of sunshine returns, and so too do the warm temperatures as well. As we kind of take a closer look, there's some of those rain showers. This is a 3 a.m. snapshot. Just a few, just kind of north of the viewing area for us, and that's where we continue to see maybe some of the higher elevations get in on some of those rain showers. Increasing clouds through your Friday evening as well, holding tight through with those clouds through the Friday night time frame, and then also into our Saturday, the sunshine returns, and those warm temperatures will be back for us. As for our projected rainfall amounts, Newport, coastal areas, higher elevations, maybe seeing 2/100ths of an inch, so nothing to write home about, unfortunately, to help with that fire threat. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be warm, mostly to partly cloudy skies, and then we will see temperatures anywhere from the 70s all the way up to the 90s across our forecasting area. But the National Weather Service does expect that western parts of Oregon will continue to see average temperatures for the next 8 to 14 days. As for our precip, they think we might see slightly above average. We can keep our fingers crossed and remain hopeful that we continue to see that trend. But for our extended outlook for the Eugene-Springfield area, only a 10% chance for some rain showers in the metro areas, and then the sunshine returns, we dry out. Summer-like temperatures return yet again as we reach up into the low 90s for Sunday. But for the coastal areas, a slightly better chance to see some rain showers for your Friday with only a 20% chance. Mostly sunny skies. After that, temperatures still above average because we should be right around 65. And then finally out towards Roseburg, plenty of sunshine. We can't seem to shake those summer temperatures as we hold tight into the low 90s and a gradual cool down once we make our way into the new work week. So I don't know, maybe make this weekend a pool day.
I know, you know what? I haven't even gone swimming since the
your
summertime.
time's ticking.
I know. And then when you started your weather forecast saying it was the first day of August, it was like mind blown. That was so quick.
Where'd the calendar go?
Right. Where did the calendar go? And thank you so much, Josh.
You're welcome.
And now we are joined with Hayden Herrera in sports, and I know that the M's are playing tonight.
Yeah, taking on the Spokane Indians. This has been a really fun week because Eugene native Kellen Strom plays for the Spokane Indians. Just 5 years ago, Kellen was catching touchdown passes from Justin Herbert at Sheldon High School. We caught up with Kellen to find out what it's been like to play pro baseball back in Eugene.
Can my side be firm?
And my side super soft?
With the Sleep Number Sports Test is brought to you by Three Rivers Casino Resort.
On Friday night, the Eugene Emeralds will have a bobblehead giveaway honoring Lois Youngin, a former women's track and field coach at Oregon in the 70s, but also a star player for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in the 50s. No bobbleheads tonight. Series finale for the M's and Indians. Chris Clark getting his 4th career start for Eugene. We'll see how he did in a moment. The Emeralds had the bats working early already. 1-0 in the first. Grayson Bird, it's one to center. Obi Rickenstrick diving for it, can't snag it. Jake Slaughter scores, and they give the go-ahead for Zach Taylor as well. part of a 3-run inning for the M's. Back to Clark, the former USC Trojan and 4th-round draft pick of the Cubs was flawless Thursday. 3 innings of no-hit ball, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. This game marking the final appearance at PK Park for Eugene native Kellen Strom this season. Strom, one of the few Spokane batters that had success Thursday, going 2 for 4 with a run scored. M's get the win and split the series. We caught up with Strom Wednesday and learned why playing in his hometown this week made it extra special.
Having the support around Eugene, and I've gotten texts from people that I haven't talked to in a couple years, and it's just cool to get that experience and have the people around me cheering for me. My brother's wife had a baby Monday, so I got to meet her yesterday, and it's just perfect timing, and it's just so cool that the support around Eugene for me, and it's just a cool experience.
As for the Emeralds, they'll start a new series Friday night hosting the Boise Hawks. The 2019 NFL season is here, and as it always does, the first preseason game of the year takes place in Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Broncos and Falcons getting football season started. Former Ducks Tony Brooks-James and Kenyon Barner saw playing time for Atlanta, as did Justin Hollins for Denver. Royce Freeman did not appear in this one. As for the actual game, second quarter, Drew Lock, the rookie out of Mizzou, scrambles for the first down, takes a big hit on the slide. Atlanta called for unnecessary roughness. Lock was 2 for 5 for 18 yards and had 1 rush for 6 yards in the first half. To the fourth, former Boise State quarterback Brett Rippon. Ducks fans remember him from the Las Vegas Bowl. Pass is tipped, but Juwan Winfrey comes down with it. The former Colorado Buffalo with the touchdown. Broncos win this one 14-10. Sticking with football, the USA Today preseason coaches poll is out. No shockers for who's on top. Defending national champions Clemson, followed by Alabama. Washington is the highest-ranked Pac-12 team at number 12, followed by the Ducks at 13. Utah and Washington State also ranked, as is Stanford, the Cardinal not pictured here, but ranked at 23. Finally tonight, an update to a story we brought you almost 1 year ago to the day. Last August, on the 50-yard line at Autzen Stadium, former NBC 16 reporter Jessica Waite got the surprise of a lifetime. Jessica thought she was getting ready to interview members of the Oregon football team. Instead, her longtime boyfriend and sports producer Alex Altman was there with a ring and a question. Jessica said yes, and I'm happy to report that these two lovebirds will tie the knot this Saturday in Central Oregon. That was such an awesome moment. He caught her completely off guard, which made it even better.
It was, and I remember I anchored that show, and I was like emotional.
Yeah, we got the tissues out.
Jess and Alex.
But yeah, congrats to them,
yes,
and yeah, that's where I won't be here tomorrow. Oregon Football Media Days tomorrow. Brandon Cameron and Maria Santora will have your coverage.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Hayden. And coming up next on NBC 16 News at 11, it's a bird. It's a plane. Nope. It's an asteroid set to pass by Earth. The details when we return.
We drove up.
Asteroid set to pass by Earth. Scientists say the massive space rock toward our planet is nothing to worry about. Asteroid 2006 QQ23 is larger than the Empire State Building, but it's not expected to hit us. Instead, the asteroid, which is nearly 5 million miles away, will zoom past Earth next week. So there's no need for concern. In fact, the cosmic flyby taking place on August 10th is a fairly common occurrence. Researchers at NASA say asteroids the size of this one pass by Earth roughly half a dozen times a year.
Although yesterday, I did see a meteor enter our atmosphere driving into work. It was a pretty quick, cool sight.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think that was just footage from the movie Armageddon we just showed. Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching NBC 16 News at 11. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
This was me before Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I